Hey folks, this is BC and you're watching science fiction and gaming. Today I'm going to focus on the science part of my channel to fix my truck. My truck is a 1997 Ford F-250 with the Power Stroke diesel engine. And it is having trouble getting started in the mornings now that it's butt-ass cold in the morning. For those of you who don't know much about diesel engines, they always use some sort of warming device to get started in the morning or when it's cold, when it's not been running for a while. Ford uses an international engine, which has now they're called Navstar. They're called Navstar, and or maybe Navistar, Nav something star, maybe just Navstar. Anywho, they used to be called International, same company, they just changed their name, I think. They use what's called glow plugs. So is the Duramax with the GMC. All General Motors products, they use the Duramax diesel engine. They also use glow plugs. The Dodge Cummins engines, they use like a heater grid plate deal, so it's a little bit different, but they all have to have some sort of heating device to get started when the engine's cold, especially when it's cold outside as well, usually below freezing. So having driven this truck for thousands of miles, owned it for years and years and years, you know what's wrong with it pretty much. You kind of can figure it out. Once I got it started, ran great, ran no problems at all. So I knew it was something just with trying to get started. So it has fuel, it has air. Of course I did check everything anyway, but got to be the glow plugs. If the engine's warm, starts right up. If it's warm outside and the engine's cold, it starts right up. So, but when it's cold, it will not start at all. And after trying for a couple times, I'm seeing some white smoke come out of the tailpipe. That is unburnt diesel. And maybe a little bit of glow plug being burnt off. But usually that's just unburnt diesel. So that leads me to believe that the glow plugs are not turning on. Now all the glow plugs, each cylinder has its own glow plug. So there's the International / Navstar engine is an 8-cylinder engine, so it's got 8 glow plugs, one for each cylinder. So if half of them were turning on, or if only 1 or 2 of them were out, I would still be able to get started. It would sound horrible for 15-20 seconds, but it would still get started pretty easily. So in this case, nothing's going on, which means none of the glow plugs are happening, which means none of them are turning on, and that tells me that's got to be the relay switch that turns on. All the power goes from the second battery. Big trucks like this actually have 2 car batteries. There's one battery just dedicated to glow plugs, and it runs through this relay that relays all the electricity to the glow plugs. That's got to be it. And hit number 2 that I'm having an issue with glow plugs is that it takes a lot of power to run them, and you can see that in the needle when you turn it on. So I'm going to turn it on, the switch, and you hear the click there, which is supposed to go to the glow plug relay, and when the click happens, the hand will go from right below the N to almost into the red zone because it's pulling so much power out of it. So since that doesn't happen, that's telling me that no power is going to the glow plugs. So let's check it out. And there's a 7.3 liter diesel in all of her glory. And now the diesel engine is lit up better for you guys to see. And just for your information, the cover plate is held on by 2 13mm bolts. I actually had it off recently to do something else, so it is not that difficult to get off. Although I remember the first time I took this thing off, they were welded on there pretty tight. It's not a structural piece at all, it's just a cover plate, and it does not need really tight screws. Put it over here, and right there Can you see that? Is the, yes, you can. With all those wires going to it, that is your relay switch for the glow plugs. And there's the relay plug up close and personal for your viewing enjoyment. And I have now replaced on my 3/8" ratchet the 1/2" socket. Let me go ahead and just get that off there. It's not very tight on there. Just put that over on the fuel filter. Oh, whoa, ho, ho. I believe that is our problem right there. Now, how do I get that off of there? Because I need to use that wire. Ah. Well, how the... It looks like, hey, look at that, it just broke right out of there. Yeah, that's been loose for quite a while. I wonder how that happened. I mean, I guess I could have done that. I don't know. Let me grab some pliers here from my back wall. Hold on to it, and then I can get... Oh, there we go. Because I got to use that wire again on the new relay. Got another one back here. Ah, there we go. Now it's kind of tight all the way. Okay, there we go. Okay. And wow, look at that. As my granddad would say, that just ain't right. And or that dog just won't hunt. So, let me grab the new shiny one. Throw that bad boy on there. And just assemble in reverse. Okay, and I'm tightening up my last little nut here. There we go. And I'm going to check them all. Again, basically all I had to do was just reverse my trust me Craftsman sockets. And there we go. That's it there. Let me double check. That's good. That's good. Alrighty, I'm going to clean this up and then we will test her out. The relay has been replaced. Everything's been cleaned up. We're ready to give her a try. And if you remember before, the needle on the battery would go straight to right below the end and not move. You would hear the actuator try to click on the relay, but it didn't happen because the relay was obviously busted. So, new relay, we should see that hand go right below the end and then dip back down when the actual relay starts on. So let's see if that happens. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to happen. Now, we wait to start, the light goes off, and there we go. That right there is a diesel engine, alive and well. Oh yeah. Well, it looks like the Ford is up and running again, so that's awesome. And I myself have learned 2 lessons from this little adventure of ours. Lesson number 1. I might have over-torqued the nut on the first relay I changed out back 3 or 4 years ago, whenever I did it last. And that might have led to its ultimate demise, this weekend. It could have been a defaulty part. That's very possible. Or it could have been a defaulty installer. So, I learn my lessons, and I do better in the future, which I was here much more carefully installing the new relay. And lesson number 2 is that even if you're going to run a diesel engine for 3 to 5 seconds, you should always open up the door to the garage, because now my entire house smells like diesel. So I'm sure my carbon monoxide detector is about to go off any second now. So that's awesome. So I hope you learned something though. At least learn a little bit about diesel engines or big trucks, or the fact that I like them. Whatever. Feel free to make any comments, suggestions, any ideas. Hit the like button if you liked what you saw. See you guys. Okay, well, I need to stop saying okay, don't I? Almost said okay again, didn't I?